G'day guys. Hey look, if you believe scientists, you believe this concept that the universe is 16 billions of years old, and over 16 billions of years atoms and molecules have been bumping into each other and forming planets and stars, and eventually this creature has evolved in the universe over the last 500,000 years, and this creature, the creature of man, we've appeared on the scene and we have become conscious of our own reality. So in other words, the universe has woken up to the fact that it exists. Now, something really weird and strange is going on here. Is there a purpose to this? Is there a reason? Well, let's just find out what some of you guys think out there.
Why are we here? What is life about? Why are we here? Is there life after death? Is there a greater meaning than the day in, day out Groundhog Day? What is the point? John Lennon said that life is what happens when we're busy making other plans. Life tends to rush past us in a fury of speed, and suddenly we realize that we are mortal and our mortal life does have an end, and we feel confronted, shocked, in disbelief, and we suddenly think, what is the point?
The purpose of life is a most complex question. It is one of those philosophical landmines. Does our life have purpose, or is the purpose itself life? One thing's for certain, we may have an inkling in our collective unconscious of why we're here at the point of our birth. But it's never revealed until you take the journey. So the purpose of life is the journey itself, to live.
What is the meaning of life? So many people ask this question. We are here for rather a short time in the scheme of things. Some are here for more time than others, and some for a shorter time than others. Why are we here? We're here to learn, to grow, to live, to love, to not judge anybody or anything. This is just all my opinion, okay? No one is any better or any worse than anybody. You are no better and you are no worse than anybody. So you can be a multi-million-dollar corporate famous star of a person. You're no better than anybody in a third world country in poverty. What makes you so special? We don't choose where we're born. We don't choose how we're born, where we're born, what colour we're born, what we're born into. So the meaning of life to me is to make the most of what you have, what you've been given.
The purpose of life, huh? Well, this is a hard question and an easy question. It's not easy to answer this question because people are thinking different things about this question, For me, some people may consider that the purpose of life is to be successful, to have a great career, to have a great family, to have a big and good house, to have a great car, to have a pool in your house, and many, many material things, which are not bad, don't get me wrong. I will get there, at some point. Some other people may consider that the purpose of life is to just want to be on top of everything, and everyone, you know. These are the greedy people that I call, because for me, a person who wants and consider as a success and that he reached the purpose of life is to look down and see the old tiny people, us, and see, haha, you're there, I'm here, you know. Some people consider this as the purpose of life. Some other people may consider that the purpose of life is just to be numb in the life and just do nothing. I mean, people without, how can I call that? Without interests, without hobbies, you know, just work, home, and all that.
If there is a purpose to all of this, it's got to be a purpose that is common for all creation. You know, it's got to be valid on the planet of Pluto, and it's got to be valid on planet Earth. But not only for man, it's got to be valid for the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, and also for man and all the creatures on the planet. Now, I know a lot of people out there say, well, the purpose of life is to love. Well, okay, that's true. Yeah, okay, but you know, I sort of feel as though that's probably something that man has created. You know, it's one of our purposes of life. You know, to love each other. But I'm sort of looking more towards a big universal reason as to why we're all here. And I think the clue is in the book of Genesis, in the Bible. Now, I'm not a religious person at all. I'm a spiritual person. But let's just see what that word is, okay? So the book of Genesis reads like this. In the beginning, God created. That's it. Creation. That's why we're here. We're here to create. We're here to be artists. We're here to build cities. We're here to build relationships. We're here to build love, okay? And that, you know, that's valid for everything. The plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, probably, you know, I think that's the reason for everything.
It's often in our 40s and 50s that we start to question the existence of our life and why we are here. Often we felt we would have reached this point in our life and we would have the white picket fence, the Prince Charming, the perfect children. And that ain't what life is about. We haven't achieved what we thought we would have achieved by this time. So suddenly we start asking, why? Why are we here? If we start asking ourselves, do we have a soulmate? What is a soulmate? Is there a God? Do we have a soul? Is there an afterlife? What is spirituality? We start asking all these significant questions to try and find an anchor, something to which we can hold on to and say, that is real, that is significant, that is what life is about.
I think it's not so much that the life has a purpose, it's that life gives us a purpose, rather than there's an actual reason for, you know, you're here to do this. And what I found out when I've tried to plan my life and go, I'm going this way, life will take me another way. I mean, what I could, you know, how many times have you heard someone say, what's the purpose of X, Y, or Z, right? You know, what's the purpose of my eyes, sans glasses, putting me in a world where everything's blurry at certain distances because I'm over a certain age? What's the purpose of my pancreas going crazy and putting me into a pre-diabetic condition? What's the purpose of me being obese in this life? What's the purpose of my being a parent? What's the purpose? The purpose is that I have accepted these things in my life to give it meaning, give it value, and to learn. Because let's face it, aging eyes, aging eyes, learning to accept that you're not immortal, in the physical sense. What's the purpose of my obesity? Maybe somewhere in the line I may have been vain or terrible, I don't know. But one for certain, it may be to understand those who may have been hurt. Who knows? But I don't think life has an actual purpose. I think life gives you purpose, as it gives you the opportunity to learn and find the purpose for you within what life dishes out.
So many people overanalyze. Oh, what is this great meaning of life? Okay? This flower, it's alive. It was alive. It's now been picked. It will only survive now for a certain amount of time. But it's run its course, it's done its cycle. That's what we're doing. We're only here once. Yes, a lot of people believe and think reincarnation, past lives, yes. But in this present moment, on this present day, you are only here but once. Make the most of this one time in this life, in this now. Look around you. Enjoy the smaller things. Don't overanalyze what should I do, what if. Put it out there of what you want. Always help another if you can. If you can't, don't hurt that other. Don't judge. Don't be brutal. Honour yourself, because when you honour yourself, you honour others. Love yourself. Be true to yourself. For how can somebody love you if you don't love yourself?
For me, and this is only my opinion, okay, don't get me wrong with all these things that I say. For me, the purpose of life is to live your life. If you love your life, and if you love yourself and the people that surround you, and you love humanity, okay, that means you want to live your life. And if you start living your life, and if you start loving yourself, loving the people that surround you, loving others, that means you are close to the answer to the purpose of life. I think that we'll never get a full answer on what's the purpose of life, but for me, pretty much is just live your lives. No matter what life can bring you, bad things, good things, it's just life. Live it. You just live once. And as we grow old and we can understand what's happening around us, we must appreciate this thing, this gift, this life. And for me, the only purpose that we have to have in mind is just to live it, just to live the life and be happy and be glad with what we have in our lives. Yeah, and that is only my opinion. That's the purpose of life, in my opinion. Thank you for listening.
I believe that we're all basically just biological computers, and inside our brains we're building this three-dimensional view of what reality is. And the purpose of life, well, that's just one of the models that's running inside our brains. It's part of us trying to describe what reality is. We are the universe contemplating itself. That's what we are. I think, therefore I am.
I believe that life is unfair and that we need to build a bridge and get over it. I believe the meaning of life is about belief in self, finding a strong, authentic sense of self. And once we have that sense of self, give out consistently, repetitively to other people while never compromising that sense of self. So it's the balance between this is who I am in my own right. I don't care what anyone else thinks. This is me and I'm going to be me. And as we are me, I, self, We give consistently to those relationships in our life. So for me, the meaning of life is self and how our sense of self gives with goodness to other people. And it's not about that journey being that we always get it right. Of course we don't get it right. We're always making mistakes, but we get up and we try again. We say sorry, we take responsibility, and we try again.
Let's not underestimate serendipity. Let's not, and those lovely coincidences that happen in the world. But if you didn't have a purpose or an intent, I don't think they would have come. And that's something coming from my neck of the woods. When we project our energies out through prayer or spells or ritual, we have to state our intent and be it of good meaning, of goodwill. Our intent will determine our purpose and our actions. But getting back to the purpose of life, I think it's meaning. It's a search for meaning and connection and everything like that. Anything that makes life purposeful or gives purpose. So many people feel it's hopeless because they haven't been told you haven't reached the end. It's cyclical in some ways and it's linear. From the cyclical, we learn how to break it and go on to a new line, taking only the wisdom of what we brought, preferably the wise and not the fearful. That's the purpose of life for me.
So the meaning of this great gift of life that we have is to honour yourself, to learn as much as you can learn, to do as much as you can do, to go through your cycle, to follow your quest in life, to find your bliss, as many people might say. For some people, they may never, ever find what they're looking for. But that is never on you. It is on the other person. Okay? You have to, yes, sympathise, have gratitude, forgive each other, try and help each other. But this great meaning of what is life, what is the meaning of life, is to love it, to enjoy it, to respect it, whether in sickness, health, riches, poors, respect it, love it. You're here in this mortal, in this way, but only once. So love it. You deserve to. Smell its beauty in every breath. Inhale the wonder and awe of everything that you can have, that you should have, and always know that you deserve to have.
So therefore the purpose of life is just something that's just running inside the human mind. That's all it is. It's the purpose of life is what we decide it to be.
I'm definitely a Christian. I definitely believe in God with a sprinkle of Buddhism in there. So a Christian Buddhist, if you will. I think one of the limitations of religion is that it almost gives us an excuse not to take responsibility. And the meaning of life should not be about whether there is or is not a God. The meaning of life is about the meaning or significance we give to our life. Who are we in our life? Whichever God we select to believe or not believe in. Who are we? Can we look in the mirror and feel comfortable with who we are and who we contribute to and the relationships we have in our life and the lessons we learn? So yes, I believe in God, but I do not believe that is significant to the meaning of life. The meaning of life is the responsibility we take, the behavior we choose to action, the beliefs we choose to have. The meaning of life is us, our sense of self, and how we contribute to others, the environment, relationships, the world. The meaning of life is about our sense of self.